here are the list of units that I feel like are best for exploration farming. And just a brief note, the way I evaluate the position of the units is based on how versatile they are, not only for exploration farming, but other aspects of the game too. So if the unit is on the top of the list, rest assured that the unit should be useful somewhere else, even if you're not really into exploration farming. And again, this is just purely based on my opinion. If you have a different opinion, please leave a comment down below. And disclaimer number 2 is that while there are other great ways to gain experience, such as the guild feats or the dispatch quests or the kraken, today we'll only be focusing on exploration farming because this is just the way that I find to be the most convenient or efficient way to gain experience. So here are the list of units that I would recommend with the shadow set. Do keep in mind though, if you're just starting out the game, the shadow set is a little bit tougher to achieve, but if you're able to pull it off, then I believe the shadow set is going to give you a faster clear time when it comes to exploration farming. And next up, we have the Seductress list. So these are the units that I would recommend to equip the Seductress set with, especially if you're doing exploration farming. And there is a longer list compared to the shadow list, which is pretty good news for most of us because, you know, there are more options. And unfortunately, some of the best units that are better at exploration farming are either SP units or SSR units. That's not to say that, you know, the other units are useless, but these are just the units that you want to aim for if you want to do well in exploration farming. So the good thing about the Seductress set is that it is relatively more of a beginner's friendly soul set. So what that means is it doesn't require you to have really amazing souls for your units to deal decent damage. But the downside is that it will take longer. I mean, in a perfect world where you have the best Seductress set versus the best shadow set, the shadow set will be able to achieve a faster clear time when you're doing exploration farming. But, you know, again, if you're just starting out, don't worry about the quality of your souls that much. Eventually you're gonna get a nice set of soul. As of right now, just focus on, you know, getting a nice Seductress set. Now I'm gonna do a few showcases of the units that I have introduced, and if you guys are interested, feel free to check out how they perform in battle. And first we're gonna start with the Inferno Doji, and then we go in order of the list I have provided. And this is the shadow set that we'll be using for all our units for consistency purposes, and do mind that their speed is mostly going to be slower than your emoji, so they can receive the buff from your emoji. And also please also note that the SP Inferno Doji skill will require 4 orbs, so you will need to bring your own orb provider unless you want to slap on an Azurbasan set. So that's going to be the case for the SP Inferno Doji and also SP Tamono Mai. So I have brought my own Azurbasan folder, and here is the Shadow SP Inferno Doji. Please also note that the Myoji is going to go before the SP Inferno Doji. And it's just going to be one swift move if you set up your team properly. Next, we're going to test out the SSR Tamono Mai, and please also note that I have switched out the Azurbasan folder just to show you guys we don't need the extra orbs anymore, because it only takes 3 orbs for this guy to work. So again, Myoji first, and again one swift motion. Next, we're gonna go try out Takayasha Hime. Please also note that I tried to make her slower so that she's gonna go after the Myoji with the speed of 128. So this is speed 123, so she's gonna go after the Myoji, and she will also receive the attack buff. So with Takayasha Hime, unfortunately she can't really seem to clear your enemy in one go, but the reason why I put her so high up on the list is because she's pretty useful in other modes of the game, so she's going to be very versatile if you decide to build her. Next, we're gonna try out the SSR Ibaraki Doji. Please note, if you're using this unit, it's best if you do target your enemy. Ideally, you wanna target an enemy with the minimal amount of HP with them, so the spillover can kill everyone else. Since SSR Ibaraki Doji has such a unique mechanic, we're gonna try one more example, and this again, you're gonna try to target the enemy that looks the squishiest, or the one with the least health points. In this case, I'm gonna try this one. I actually don't know how much each of these guys have in terms of health point, but the point is you want to attack the enemy with the least health points so you can do the maximum damage to everyone else after you kill the one that you're targeting. And next up, we're gonna test out Orochi, and his main attack move is gonna be his third skill. His second skill is a pretty unique move that turns your own team into little snakes. But if you're doing exploration farming, you probably just want to get the fight over with, so you only be using the third skill. So for the purpose of demonstration, I would also recommend you guys to test out another build, and that is gonna be making your Shikigami unit move slightly faster than your Onmyoji. So at maximum level, your Onmyoji is likely to have 128 speed, as shown here. And if your Shikigami is able to achieve a greater speed than your Onmyoji, you will be able to shave off valuable seconds because you don't need the buff from your Onmyoji anymore. And this build is really only viable if you're able to one hit KO, or if you're able to kill off your entire enemy team with one hit. Otherwise, it wouldn't hurt for your Onmyoji to apply his buff before your Shikigami move. And to show you guys how fast or how much faster this build is gonna be, we're gonna try out another exploration. And I'm also gonna cheat a little bit. Instead of doing the hardest mode, which is around chapter 28, we're only gonna do chapter 26. And this is actually the chapter that I've been farming for the longest time until I was able to achieve one hit KO SP Ibaraki Doji. So we're gonna dive right in. So we got our team set up here, and Tamaloi is able to move first, and he's able to just use one move and kill your entire enemy team. So this is what you want to achieve if you're going for the fastest run possible. Again, let's see this again. So as I mentioned, this is not really, I mean, this is sort of like a dream if you really want to go for speed, but it's not really necessary. Now let's test out this build in chapter 28. So again, same team, and Shikigami is gonna move before the Onmyoji. Let's see if we can one hit KO this guy. See, oh, unfortunately. So I guess my soul set is just not strong enough for this at chapter 28. If you're going for maximum speed, you can either go back to, you know, an easier chapter, or you can again adjust the speed so that your Onmyoji moves before your Shikigami unit. But after many hours of farming, this really doesn't matter to me anymore. I mean, I wouldn't mind if my fight lasts a couple seconds longer. So personally, what I choose to do is I just make my Shikigami move slightly slower than my Onmyoji. Next, we're gonna go over the units that are more suitable for Seductress set, and first our example is gonna be Achille, and this is a shadow set that I'll be using throughout the next few units as an example. And the reason why Achille is top of the list is because he's both versatile in PvE mode and PvP mode. So one thing to note is if you're using him for exploration, it is ideal that you target the bigger or beefier enemy in the back here. That will help you speed up the fight a little bit. Of course, you can leave it completely on auto. He should be able to clear the fight very easily. Next, we're gonna try Takayasha Hime again, except this time she's not on Shadow, she's on Seductress. Actually, Seductress is a better set for Takayasha Hime if you're farming for exploration, because if you're lucky, your Seductress is gonna be able to proc its unique effect, and that may help you one-hit KO your enemy team with one swift attack only. Okay, so now we have the SP Tamamo no Mae, or the Blazing Tamamo no Mae. Again, I have brought the father with the Azerbaijan set, as you will see after the battle start, and he is currently on the Seductress set. So again, you need to have Azerbaijan or enough orbs to use his ultimate move. So if you're able to pull off a decent set for SP Tamamo no Mae, you might get lucky and kill off your enemy in one go, but that may not always be the case depending on the strength of your soul set. We're gonna try this again because Tamamo no Mae's skill move, the SP version, is a little bit unstable. Let's see if we can achieve one-hit KO again. So, you know, it's fairly consistent and it's also pretty fast, so and it looks really cool, so I would recommend this guy also if you're deciding on a good farmer for exploration. Next, we're gonna try out Roamin. Roamin is a pretty unique SSR unit that you can sort of obtain for free. It's gonna take a few months to really get a usable copy of him, because you need to keep getting like little bits of shards of him from the mall, so it's gonna take some time, but if you're able to pull this off, this is a great, amazing budget unit for you to build because it's free. And again, he's gonna be on Seductress. Again, this guy is amazing, especially when there are like boss fights, or if you don't have access to the fancy Seductress units like Takayasha Hime or Achille. So it's overall just very solid, though it seems like he's having a little bit of trouble surviving, so it might be a little unstable, but this is again an amazing unit, so you just really want to start building him as soon as possible. And for old time's sake, we have again all Tangu, the same all Tangu that I've had since the very beginning of the game. And if you have him, you can still build him, and he's gonna do a pretty decent job in many modes of the game, but there are unfortunately many more viable options out there, so he's not gonna be on the top of your build priority list. If you like his design, he will do a pretty good job in many aspects of the game. So there you have it, my little Tangu. Next, we're going to talk about Itsumade, the first SR unit that are on our list actually. So this is, well, if you guys are wondering where I got this skin from, unfortunately this is going to take some time for beginners. But I mean, you're going to be able to move out of that ugly evolve or original skin eventually if you can play for long enough. So again, she's on Seductress set, and same as the case for other units. It's best if you target the unit behind where it's more beefy. So again, this is an amazing SR unit. If you don't have any SSR unit, or you just don't have any good DPS unit to build, this is an amazing choice. Let's try again. Again, target this guy in the back. And if you are having trouble surviving, you can also give her HP bonus instead of attack bonus. So very decent damage. Next, we have Inugami. This is not really a unit I recommend unless you really like his design, or if you really are limited on the DPS unit that you have. And the reason I'm putting this guy on the list is because he might be useful in some parts of the game. Not necessarily a unit that you want to grade 6, but if you like him, he could be useful. And again, he's on Seductress. Another viable option is that you can put him on Vampire to really feel how annoying his defense mechanic is. So The thing he does unique about Inugami is he gives a passive to your ally unit. There's a little dog paw here, and every time your enemy attack any units with a dog paw, Inugami is gonna be able to do a counter attack. So definitely a solid unit. Lastly, I want to show you guys the unit and the soul set that I use for farming exploration. And as you can see here, this is an SP Kuro Doji equipped it with the Azure Basan, and the main focus here is the critical damage along with enough critical rate, just enough to push it above 100%. So the main goal here is to one-hit KO my opponents after receiving the buff from the emoji. And one of the things I like to do before the battle starts is to make sure that you place a unit that is about to reaches its maximum level for its grade at the spectator position. So in this case, I'm going to put 229 white Darumas in there. And one more note is you never ever put a grade 5 white Daruma in the spectator position because it is a complete waste of time and energy. I don't know how that thing got to level 30, but that just so frustrating. Anyways, once you have had that set up, make sure you have your DPS unit ready along with 2 followers that you want to level up, and then once you have everything set up, you can just hit start, and then there you have it. And then all you gotta do is just repeat the process until you have enough followers to raise any unit that you want. And I understand that for most of us, farming for experience is probably one of the most tedious part about the game. But it's about finding a system that works for you, and then after that everything should be fairly easy because the game is really very generous when it comes to giving you resource to build your roster. So that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below, and be sure to check my other video on how to farm experience spirits efficiently, linked below. Other than that, please stay safe and stay healthy, and I wish you guys the best of luck in your summonings, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. If you liked today's video, please like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter for any updates.